Have you ever looked around your city and thought, this is just chaos, a total mess of buildings and traffic? Well, it might feel that way, but believe it or not, there's a hidden logic to it all, a kind of secret code that dictates why our cities are built the way they are. And today, we're going to crack that code. I mean, think about it. If you've ever been trapped in a traffic jam, just inching along, wondering why your commute takes forever, or why you have to get in the car just to grab a carton of milk, you're asking exactly the right questions. None of this is an accident. It's all by design. Okay, so it all starts with this really powerful, kind of invisible force that's constantly shaping everything around us. From the skyscrapers downtown to the roads we drive on, it's something called the urban feedback loop. Right at the heart of this loop is what city planners call the urban triple. It's this constant dance between three key things: land use, which is what we build; transportation, which is how we get around; and urban form, which is the city's overall shape. The crazy part is, they're all connected. You can't change one without affecting the other two. And here's exactly how that loop works in the real world. So picture this. A city decides to build a new metro line. Suddenly, that whole area is way easier to get to, right? That makes the land more valuable. So what happens? Developers rush in and build up tons of high-rise apartments and shopping malls. But all those new people and businesses create, you guessed it, a whole lot more traffic, which then creates demand for even more transportation. It's a cycle that just keeps feeding on itself. Now, this whole feedback loop puts cities in a really tough spot. It forces them to make a fundamental choice, a choice that ends up impacting your daily life in a huge way. It's this constant battle between two ideas: accessibility and mobility. And really, it all boils down to this one question. Are we building a city that's all about speed, or one that's all about convenience? See, mobility is about how fast you can travel. Think of a huge multi-lane expressway where you can just fly. But accessibility is about how easily you can get to the places you need to go, like having a grocery store or a park that's just a short walk from your front door. The tricky part? It's really, really hard to have both. So this choice, this big conflict between mobility and accessibility, it leads us down to totally different paths, to competing visions for what a city can even be. You could say they're two completely different worlds. So on one hand, you've got urban sprawl. This is probably what a lot of us are used to. Everything is low density and spread out. You live in one area, you work in another, and you shop somewhere else entirely. This whole setup pretty much forces you to own a car for every single trip. But on the other hand, you've got the compact city. This is the complete opposite. It's high density with everything: homes, offices, shops, all mixed together. And because everything is so close, you're naturally encouraged to walk or bike or hop on public transit. Okay, so if sprawl and being stuck in our cars all the time causes so many headaches, what's the fix? Well, one of the leading ideas right now is a strategy that's all about building smarter, more efficient communities right from the start. It's called transit-oriented development, or TOD for short. And the core idea is actually pretty simple. You intentionally build dense, lively, walkable neighborhoods directly around a major transit station, like a metro or a train stop. The goal is to weave together living, working, and transportation so seamlessly that you just don't need a car for your day-to-day life. So, what's the secret sauce that makes TOD actually work? It all comes down to one magic number: 500 to 800 meters. That's it. Why? Because that's the sweet spot for a 5 to 10 minute walk. All the research shows that if you put people's homes, their jobs, and their shops all within that radius of a transit station, they're overwhelmingly more likely to just walk instead of drive. That one distance, that's the key. And hey, this isn't just some theory on a whiteboard. Let's look at Delhi. Their official TOD policy is doing exactly this. They've created a 500-meter influence zone around their metro stations. Inside that zone, they're allowing for much denser buildings and mixing commercial and residential spaces together. They are literally trying to transform a massive, sprawling megacity into a connected network of walkable hubs. And places like Dwarka Sector 21 and Karkarduma are the test cases for this future. So all of this leads us to the final piece of our urban puzzle. If the goal is to stop everyone from clogging the roads to get to one single downtown area, what's the alternative? You know, historically, cities have followed a few basic layouts. You've got the radiocentric model, where everything radiates out from one central point, like spokes on a wheel. Then there's the gridiron, which is exactly what it sounds like, a neat grid of streets. But the problem with both of these classic models is they tend to funnel every single car towards that one central core, creating a massive bottleneck. That's why the solution for today's huge cities seems to be the polycentric model. Instead of having just one super congested downtown, you create multiple, distinct centers. By spreading out the jobs, the shops, and the services across several different hubs, you automatically shorten people's commutes and take a ton of pressure off that old city core. It's about building a city of many centers, not just one. So there you have it. You've cracked the code. From that constant feedback loop to the big battle between getting somewhere fast versus getting there easily, these are the forces shaping the world right outside your window. So the next time you're out on your commute, just look around and ask yourself, was this place built for cars or was it built for people? Is this a city that sprawls or one that's compact? And maybe the most important question of all is, what kind of city do you want to live in?